Have you ever laid in bed at night with your eyes closed, but your mind wide awake? Thoughts racing, worries piling up, tomorrow feeling heavier than today, bills you're unsure how to pay, conversations you replay over and over, fears that quietly creep in the moment the room goes silent. Now let me ask you something. What if there was one simple prayer, just a few words, that has brought peace to millions of people across generations? A prayer whispered in hospital rooms, in prison cells, on battlefields, and in bedrooms just like yours. Tonight I want to share that prayer with you, and more importantly, I want to show you why saying it before sleep can change how you feel, starting tonight. Nearly a century ago, during a time of great uncertainty, people were struggling deeply. Jobs were disappearing, families were breaking. Hope felt fragile. A theologian named Reinhold Niebuhr watched people around him drowning in worry. And he realized something important. People didn't need complicated answers, they needed peace. So he shared a simple prayer, a prayer that would go on to be spoken by millions of people around the world. It's known as the Serenity Prayer. And before you think, "I've heard this before," stay with me, because most people never truly understand why it works. This prayer has been adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous, military chaplains, therapists, and everyday people in their darkest moments. Not because it sounds nice, but because it speaks a deep psychological and spiritual truth. Here is the prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's it. Just a few words, but when you say them slowly, especially before sleep, they do something powerful. Let's break it down. First, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Think about what keeps you awake at night. Is it the past? Someone else's behavior? The economy? A message you can't unsend? A situation already out of your control? Your brain doesn't know the difference between real danger and imagined danger. When you replay worries again and again, your body reacts as if the threat is happening right now. This line isn't about giving up. It's about putting down weight you were never meant to carry. Accepting doesn't mean you approve. It means you stop letting it steal your peace at 2 a.m. Next, the courage to change the things I can. This is where strength enters. Once you release what you can't control, you suddenly have energy for what you can. You can't control whether someone loves you back, but you can control how you treat yourself. You can't control the outcome of tomorrow, but you can control the next small step. Courage doesn't mean giant moves. Sometimes courage is simply getting out of bed, making one phone call, asking for help, choosing kindness toward yourself. I once heard a woman say she repeated this prayer every night while going through a painful divorce. She said, "I couldn't change what was ending, but I could change how I spoke to myself, and that saved me." Small courage, repeated daily. That's how lives change. Finally, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is the heart of the prayer. Most of our stress comes from confusing these two things. Trying to control what we can't, ignoring what we can. We replay old conversations instead of having the one we need today. We worry about our health while avoiding the simple habits that help us heal. Wisdom is asking yourself each night, what am I holding that isn't mine to hold? And what is mine to gently face tomorrow? When you say this prayer before sleep, it becomes a quiet reset for your soul. There's also science behind why this works. Right before sleep, your brain enters a highly receptive state. Your subconscious listens more closely. When you repeat words of acceptance, courage, and wisdom, you're signaling safety. You're telling your nervous system, we don't need to solve everything tonight. People who pray or reflect intentionally before sleep experience less anxiety, better rest, fewer racing thoughts, greater emotional balance. This prayer doesn't erase problems, it changes how much power they have over you. So tonight I invite you to try something simple. Put your phone down, sit on the edge of your bed, place one hand on your heart, and slowly say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You don't need perfect faith. You don't need perfect words. You just need honesty. Millions of people have found comfort in this prayer, not because it fixes everything, but because it reminds them of what truly matters. Your peace, your next choice, your next breath. That's enough for tonight. Sleep well.